So while you were all away, here's what I finished up on the workshop. I've got the load control meter. Actually, I've got everything done now for the boiler, and they're coming today to run a full test on it, but it's all up and running. So put the meter on. Actually had Meeker Co-op come out and recheck all my work. They said it looks fine. Let's go inside. So we've got power coming out of the fuse box out and through the wall into that meter, as well as wiring for the load control into the meter. I think you saw this last time, but the boiler is completely done, all wired. That little box up on top is where the wiring runs through that measures how much electricity we're using. That's part of the load control. And then you see this little piece of conduit here. This runs power from the control unit down to the pump. So that will all be run through its paces today just to confirm that we've got it right. The other thing I did was finished up the inside on this wall. This is the south wall, so that is now completely sheathed. And mounted the TV back up in the corner. Let's continue on here. Let's mounted our TV out in the main garage area. I've got my compressor where it's going to be now. And this was actually handy. I've used this. I've got my air line that runs through the wall into the workshop. And with that wall being finished, I finished insulating the backside. Now I just need to sheathe this. So we've got that. Ran and picked up materials today. To finish up here, I need more plywood for this wall and for the two exterior walls. So I have those materials now, as well as the metal that's going to go up in the ceiling here. The other thing I worked on, I don't know if you'll be able to see this very well, but that little piece of plywood that you see up there, it's called wind wash, and that keeps the blown-in insulation from dropping down into the soffits, and it still leaves space up at the very top for air movement, so that the soffit vents can ventilate the ceiling structure. All right. So I think today what I'll do is focus on getting some insulation and some vapor barrier up on this wall. And if I have time, we'll get to this wall as well. Then I can continue working on sheathing. Alright, I finished up the exterior walls. We'll do a quick walk around. So all the sheathing is on now. No more plywood to put up here. All right, so we're done with that. So the next thing that I'll be doing is putting up vapor barriers. So I have to pull all these lights down, and I'll have to pull down the brackets for the garage door. And then I'll put the vapor barrier up, and then I can put my metal, my ceiling up. I'll get a sheetrock lift for that. Should make it easy. And we'll get that installed. And with that, the interior will be done. Then I move on, and I can put up a few cabinets and bring all my shop equipment in here, and then I can move on to the outer part of the pole barn and get all that done. I'll probably work on that throughout the summer, and sometime before winter, when all the ceiling is in, I'll get up there and blow in, I don't know, 18 inches of cellulose for insulation up there, and we'll be ready to go. Alright, it's not pretty, but the vapor barrier is up, and it'll do the job that it's designed to do. The staples are just there to kind of keep it in place for now, and when I start putting the metal up, it'll just lay on top of that metal, and that'll hold it in place. On to metal. All right, so that's it. Finished up on everything that needs to be done before I can start moving equipment in here. So the last couple of things I finished up was getting the metal up on the ceiling, getting the lights back up, and everything wired. And then I ran a trim board up around the edge just to kind of clean it up so it looks nice. All I did was just threw some 2x4 up there. And didn't show it on camera, but I trimmed out the window and the 2 doors. So that's it. I think part 6 is the end of the work for this, and I'll probably follow up in a little while, just kind of give you a view of the shop once I get all my equipment in here, get my benches and my cabinets on the wall. So that is it. This thing's ready to go.